Hello and welcome to DC Velocity's Thought Leader series produced in conjunction with MHI. My name is Mark Solomon. I'm a senior editor at DC Velocity magazine. And today we are pleased to be joined by Joanne Cleaver. Joanne is the founder and CEO of Wilson Taylor Associates that is based in Manistee, Michigan. And she has written 7 books, the latest being The Career Lattice, which advocates a new module or template for career growth and advancement. And she has spent a good chunk of her career as a freelance journalist and as a full-time journalist. And she is here to join us, and we're happy to have her.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Describe the Lattice Principle and how it might clash with what we know in terms of the templates for career advancement within an organization.
Well, the classic metaphor for career advancement in America is the ladder. You think about moving up one rung at a time, and kind of the classic way of defining your achievement or your ambition is, I want to take over my boss's job. Well, on the lattice, we think laterally. We think in terms of diagonal opportunity. So it's not just defining success by moving just straight up, but also looking at strategic lateral moves that can set you up for an eventual move up in a couple jobs.
Okay. Within this field, material handling, is that considered a foreign or alien concept?
Actually, in the research I did before today, I discovered that about 30% of hires are actually internal transfers on the basis of experience primarily. And these are cross-functional transfers, which is the classic definition of a lateral or lattice move. So the industry is already doing it. It just doesn't have a real clean way of describing this process. And of course, a clean way of corralling it and describing it is key to making this a strategic initiative as opposed to just a default way of moving people around.
One of the issues that's being discussed not only here but throughout the industry is the dramatic shortage of qualified people. Strategic workforce management is becoming a new buzzword or buzz phrase.
Certainly.
The movement, lateral movement, has never had a positive connotation. It's always been, well, you're stalled. Do you think that lateral movement now, as you describe it, could be positioned as a positive and could perhaps help the industry be tell a better story about its workforce issues?
Well, it actually already is positive in a lot of industries. So this particular industry of materials handling and logistics simply needs to sync up with some of the initiatives that are happening at other industries. And for example, one way you can identify whether or not your workplace sees a lateral move as positive or neutral or negative is by looking at your internal communications. I mean, I have a 3C test for helping you just assess how do you actually already view lateral moves. If it's the response to an announcement of a lateral move is congratulations or confusion or consoling, that helps you figure it out. Do you congratulate somebody? Oh, you're taking on a new territory. Are you confused? A new territory, is that an up move or a down move? Or are you consoling them? I'm really sorry to hear they moved you over to that new territory. That type of intuitive response clues you into your own culture. You may find that you have a more positive response to lateral moves than you would expect.
Do companies need to do a better job of framing a lateral move as a positive?
I think that there's a lot of confusion about the traditional notion of like a fast track management lateral rotation, which is something that a lot of big industrial companies have used to advance and qualify people for executive positions, with a more organic lateral or lattice concept. On the lattice, people are actually propelling their own careers. And so you need not just to tell people, oh yeah, a sideways move is actually a good thing now, but to marry that with training that's just in time, and a consciousness in mentoring and sponsorship and an awareness on the part of managers as to how this retains the talent that you need. So putting a more conscious framework helps you be more deliberate, helps you get better momentum and direction for the lateral initiatives that are kind of bubbling up organically.
Will the employee of the future, the person who will be best positioned for career growth and advancement, be somebody who thinks bottoms up and embraces something like this, which perhaps has a new connotation to it that it hadn't had before, or will it still be the person who is most comfortable with the command and control apparatus?
Well, we actually already have the employee of the future. They're called millennials, and they completely buy into the Lattice because it reflects their expectation that they're going to be preparing today for jobs that don't exist yet. You know, they don't expect to take over even their big brother's job, never mind their dad's. What they expect to do is to be continually learning and retraining themselves for lateral moves. They want to be in on a new hot project, even if there's no clearly defined payoff in terms of career, because they expect that it will qualify them for something that is still in the pipeline that they may not have even heard about. So that's the expectation. And that's what millennials want. They'll be driving some of this change. Bosses and CEOs, organizational leaders who have the insight to understand how their own lateral moves have been key will be able to reframe how they communicate about the definition of success. And when you can look at your own lateral moves and realize, hey, those really set me up in a really substantive way, then you can start to advocate for strategic lattices as opposed to just say, well, yeah, it's kind of happening, and just, expecting people to take the same definition of success that made you, propelled you to your current position.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.